him. Upgrade anytime at Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Ouellette reassigned. Can you tell us why?
Well, I think it's a situation, Phil, where as older players on the team, they weren't really willing and excited about accepting the role and responsibility that the organization has presented to them for this season. And it's no slight on them or anything. They have goals and agendas in their career, but as an organization and a real testament to the young kids on our hockey club. They've done such a great job throughout training camp, preseason, and even in the 2 regular season games here of giving us confidence and inspiring us that we're in a good situation now where we can grow and develop some of our younger guys and put them into more key situations, give them more responsibility. And it's a place that the organization hasn't been in the last couple of years, certainly since I came in 2011, where we've had this much depth and younger guys that are ready to step into more important roles in the organization. And we've looked at teams that have had success since our tenure here in the league and what was the recipe, and a lot of that was growing players from within and giving them responsibilities and having a chance to play more and grow. And let's be honest, the young players don't get better playing 3 or 4 shifts per game. You're kind of your middle-age group. In order for them to carry your hockey team at 19 and 20, they've got to be exposed to big minutes at 17, 18 years of age. And we're very, very confident with the young kids that we have right now.
That being said, would you look at adding a 20-year-old if the opportunity became available, or are you just comfortable with the young guys going forward?
Well, something that would have to be a situation, and I'm sure Chad and the other coaches would agree, it would have to be a situation where it's a tremendous fit, almost like a Colton Jobkey fit for us 2 years ago, where he's coming in and going to be a real strong addition to the hockey club in a leadership role as well as on ice performance. But we've got a large number of 19-year-old players on this team that have been in the league a number of years. So they're only 1 year younger than 20, and they still have to play significant minutes. And I think the pressures may be off them a little bit right now, some of those 19-year-old kids, because of the older logjam that we had on this hockey club. So again, that's a testament to them and how they persevered, and they didn't let the numbers and the talk around training camp get to them, and they've performed quite admirably.
When you say that these guys weren't prepared to play the roles that you guys needed them to play, was it a conversation that took place, or was it something that happened over a period of time where they said they realized where they were slotting in?
It was both, quite honestly. It was a period of time. I think they saw throughout the preseason perhaps that we had some younger guys pushing and we're playing some roles. We tried to change the lineup up a fair bit to mix veterans and young guys in, and we went into PA the first game with a very, very young hockey club against a much more seasoned team, and we stood in there and played quite well. So I think that might have been the beginning of it a little bit, but everybody wants to play, and that's the hard part of the game of hockey. And I certainly respect, the fact that those 2 gentlemen have put time and service into both the organization and in the Western Hockey League. They're both good guys that I personally had great relationships with, which makes it always tough to part with guys that have been war horses with you. And Luke in particular, because I coached the D and the amount of minutes that he's played for me the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, we have to groom some of these younger guys, and we have to give them meaningful minutes too, because if we don't, it stunts their growth. And we looked at the Kootenay Ice from last season. At one point, I believe, on the trade deadline, they were 14 points out of a playoff spot, and they had a tremendously young hockey club. But they went young, and they built, and they groomed, and they were patient with those young guys. And we all saw what they did in the second half. They leapfrogged everybody and got themselves into a playoff spot.
Put a lot of focus on those 19-year-olds. Are you prepared to carry the number that you have now?
Well, now that we've thinned it out right now, I think it'll remain status quo for sure. And, as I said to the guys in the locker room, Patty D'Amico and Sam Aridney, Christopher, Mark McCoy up front in particularly have done a great job, not just playing in the shape that they come in and the dedication they showed, and they know what their roles and responsibilities are in this hockey club, and they've accepted that, and that's a part of being a professional hockey player, is accepting your role and being happy and buying in, and those guys have done a great job.
The
it's not really your job, but is there a chance you could move either of these guys for futures, I guess?
Oh, for sure. We're not in the business of hurting anybody and developing, having them enhance their hockey careers too. So for sure, if there's an opportunity elsewhere for them, maybe to join another club and there's an asset coming back our way because we have to look after the interests of our organization as well, then I'm sure something like that could happen.
Kyle Burroughs named your captain on the weekend. Talk about why you think he's the guy to be the leader of this team.
Well, we looked at it over the last number of years. It's been a long time since the Regina Pats have had a repeat captain. And it always seems like it's a 20-year-old or a graduating 19-year-old to pro that's been in the leadership of in the locker room in there. And, that really leaves a void the following year. And what we had talked about, we looked at the board. Actually, Jared Adams was a 3-year captain here with the Pats back in the 90s. And we wanted to have some continuity from year to year. And, Kyle's a potential 2 or 3 year player here for us right now. He's been with the organization. He's homegrown. He works hard. He brings it every single day in practice. He's got the respect of his teammates. And those are all the factors. He's a very mature young man. I mean, he's played big minutes for this hockey club and has been a really, really good soldier for us the last 2 seasons. And, it's the same with Morgan Klimchuk. He's done a great job. He brings it every day. Chandler Stevenson. I think it's a step for him. He's shown some leadership here this year. I think he got overshadowed a lot in the past, and Chandler's done a great job and being a good mentor around the younger players. And then with Dyson Stevenson, he's the old guard. And I respect everything that Dyson's done for this organization. He's worn a letter in the past. We talked to him about the situation before we announced it to the team. He was happy and was very honored that we still considered him to be a leader and a captain in this team. So we're very happy with the guys we have.
Was it, the players kind of have a say in who becomes captain, or was that a decision by you and your staff?
Well, it was a decision by all of us coaches and Chad as well, and just with the direction we want to go over the next couple of seasons here. So, when it goes to votes, it sometimes always goes to the most popular guy or, the guy that's been here the longest. It really becomes a skewed popularity contest. I think the guys are quite happy and quite honestly impressed with the fact that we went younger. And at the same time, they get a burden put on them now. Now they have to become leaders even more so. They got to make sure guys are doing the right things day in and day out, making the right decisions day in and day out, and the pressure comes on them to have to perform day in and day out. But they're the guys that are playing the minutes in our hockey club. They're the future of the Regina Pats.
How would you describe Kyle's leadership style?
He's a very quiet guy. He leads by example. As we saw from the first moment he played with his hockey club at 16, he's not afraid to stand up for his teammates. I mean, the first fight he had in the Western Hockey League was with a 20-year-old player on the road. And, I mean, that right there said it to me on what kind of leadership this kid has. He stands up for his teammates. He plays big minutes for us. He's here early, leaves late, trains. He's everything a Regina Pat is.
Do you worry at all that the captaincy can be a big weight, obviously, and him being maybe a little bit newer to being a go-to guy here already, that he'll look too much into it, think too much about being different because he's wearing the C?
No, I don't worry about that at all. Kyle knows who he is and what makes him successful, and he's got great guys to lean on too, and Morgan and Chandler, and Morgan's experience at the international level and the pressure that comes along with that is going to help Kyle, and they do it collectively as a group, and we can only have one C, so to me we have 4 Cs, and Chandler obviously has been around the organization, and Dyson, his track record of standing up for his teammates and everything that he's done for the organization, those are great mentors for him.
The Edmonton Oil Kings, not only a tough opponent, but they fared pretty good on the power play, and that's what hurt you guys, at least when you were shorthanded. What do you think some things you got to work on to make sure that they don't take a huge advantage of their power plays?
Well, it's something we feel we kind of beat ourselves the other night. We had a 2-1 lead going into the third period, and we took 2 somewhat undisciplined penalties, and those ones always seem to be karma that's going to come back and bite you. So, for us right now, it's about being disciplined. We're taking way too many needless penalties. and then all of a sudden the pressure comes on you to have to kill those off. At the beginning of the year, everybody's penalty kill is a little bit rusty. It's harder to get better on the penalty kill than it is on the power play for sure at the beginning of the year. And for me, it's just getting back to the basics. That's clearing pucks when you have an opportunity. It's blocking shots. It's not a glorious job being a penalty killer, but it's all those dirty things that you need to win hockey games. And if we can get back to those basics, we'll be fine.